was way up at Angela Yee. We had to jump in right here. But Simone Mair is here with us, and Charisse Higgins is here. Thank you, ladies, for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
The founders of CurlFest.
Yes.
The creators of Curly Girl Collective.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So let's talk about the beginnings for people who are listening, because I know as a curly girl myself.
Yes.
Not today though. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but that's
Beautiful.
the beauty of being a curly girl. You're versatile.
That's right.
We can be straight. We can be curly. We can do it
Have
all.
braids, locks, all the things.
Wait, are you about to tell me that you're not curly anymore?
No, I am.
Oh,
My
okay.
girl. So my girl Paris. I know you guys know
Yes,
Paris.
yes,
right?
yes.
She owns a hair salon in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And so she's been like, come to the salon, come to the salon. She does specialize in like silk presses
Yes.
and blowouts and stuff. And so I haven't worn my hair straight in I don't know how long.
That's true. I've never seen you with straight hair.
Yeah, and it used to be like you never see me with curly hair, So
Right.
because it was such a journey to go from straight to curly, it's so tough.
Yeah.
To like let your hair grow out and do all the things. And so she was like, "Let me just straighten your hair since you haven't had it straight in so long." And
Yeah.
so I let her do it.
How do you feel?
I do still like curly hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can wrap it and wake up and take it
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Until it doesn't look fresh anymore.
Yeah, until
Then
it
you're
doesn't
I need
look
my
fresh.
volume. I need my curls back.
All right,
But
but let's get into Curly Girl Collective.
Yes.
For people listening, if this is their first time, like coming out to, because CurlFest is a thing,
Yes.
that you never would have anticipated it turning into. But for people who don't know the story, let's just give that story.
I tell the long-winded version.
Okay, I
Because there's a lot of history with it.
I'll take the.
Yes.
I'll
There's a
tell
lot
the
of
quick
history.
and dirty version.
Yes.
So, in 2011, I think, or 2010. It was a bunch of girls. At that time, there weren't that many natural hair kind of resources. So we were on Google groups. We're aging ourselves a little bit, talking
group
all
chats.
day, right? And chats like, what? I just cut off my hair, etc. That turned into, let's have a meetup at one of our co-founders' Brooklyn apartment, and we had a meetup. It was great. We said, let's bring this to the public. We had our very first event in 2011, and we had these little events over the last couple of years, but they would keep selling out. And we're like, we need a place that has more than 300 people in New York, and we can invite more people. Let's have a picnic in the park. The picnic in the park,
Prospect Park.
2014 was CurlFest. That's how CurlFest was born. We
Yeah.
came up with the name. We had the picnic in the park. It was born in 2014.
10-year anniversary this
10-year
year.
anniversary.
Big
Yeah,
up.
so exciting. It's crazy to say that.
Yeah.
And so it just grew, it naturally grew from 1,000 people to upwards of 30, 40,000 people, right?
And something you learned you could monetize.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we're still learning, but
We're still learning,
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a blessing. Like, we can't believe we're 10 years in. That's kind of crazy to say, but yeah, we've been doing this work for that long.
I think even during the pandemic was a great time not a great time like that, but a great time for people to also embrace their natural curls. We saw a lot of guys embracing their natural
Beards and
hair
their hair,
patterns
yeah.
too, because some of it's a little pushback.
little bit.
Yeah. But a
So
lot
you've
of
seen
people,
those extensions now.
Oh my
They're-
gosh.
Yeah.
And
But-
so talk to me about the pandemic and what you guys did during that time.
Yeah, it's interesting because someone recently asked me this question, and really was an opportunity for me to take a step back, because during the pandemic there was so much going on. There was George Floyd, there was so many there's so many instances where Black people felt as though they didn't matter and we weren't seen. And it was an opportunity for Curly Girl Collective, or even everyone during the pandemic, to get together and say, okay, how can I feel joy so that I don't go down this downward spiral of despair? Because the world is telling me that I don't matter, and I'm in this house and I'm just stuck here, right? So everyone was on lives, etc. And Curly Girl Collective took that as an opportunity for us to do programming around Black joy. So we were doing fitness classes, we were doing lives, we were talking to various people. We can drop some names. Jadena was one of my favorites that we spoke to.
Hey, Jadena.
And he showed so much love to us and women, etc. But it was just an opportunity for us to get together and say, you know what, Black joy is important. In the simplest form, Black joy is important. Us being happy is important. Us being celebrated is important. And CurlFest is an expression of that. So it started about natural hair, but it's grown to be so much more than that. It's grown to be, we demand to be seen and heard in every facet of life. And we also enjoy to be happy.
That part.
You know what is great? And since you talked about the expression and how it's so much more, when you go to CurlFest, when you get to see people come out with all the different styles and everything that they have going on, and I feel like even media coverage of it has been amazing too for you guys, because
Shout out to Way
so
Up.
much creativity.
Yes.
When you get to, and anybody who's listening, just go and look at some of the past CurlFest and see some of the styles that are going on. It's a great time for people to come out and just like try something different.
And just be.
And just be.
And just be.
Yeah.
We get a lot of questions. Like some people will say, Simone, I have braids in my hair. Can I come to CurlFest?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or I have a perm.
Or I have a perm. Or I'm a man and I don't have hair. Can I come to CurlFest?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Emphatically, yes. If you have a straight hair, any which way you wear your hair.
If you have a wig,
If you have a wig,
all of that is fine.
If you wear
if you have the
makeup,
bust
people
down,
feel,
yes, come to
Yeah.
CurlFest and have a great time, because it's an inclusive space that we're
Yes.
creating, right?
Yes.
And it's much more than hair, like Charisse said. It's called CurlFest and Curly Girl Collective, but it's really deeper than hair, right? It's about mentality, it's about representation, it's about creating spaces that we see ourselves in, and create opportunities for entrepreneurs and Black and brown businesses, right? It's much more than just the actual follicles of the hair on your head.
You know what I love is seeing the growth of so many brands that got started that have gone on to really thrive in this market, because I always talk about this. Miss Jessie's, that was the first product that ever gave me like billboards. When we first started, when I first started on the Breakfast Club. And that was also a brand that when I was younger, going to Ricky's hair supply store, it would be so hard to find something that was appropriate for my hair. I remember I used to just use gel.
Yeah.
Remember that? It was like, there wasn't anything specifically for curly
They
hair
were our
or
first
for Black
sponsor
women.
ever. Our very first event, when Simone was talking about when we started,
Pre-CurlFest, Miss
pre-CurlFest, they were our very first sponsor, and they did a live Big Chop. Before we even really knew what that was, we came up with this idea to do a Big Chop live in front of everybody. And they took it on the road. They ended up taking it on the road and doing it for so many other people. And now we know what that is. Like going back to natural, going back to your roots. But yeah, Miss Jessie's was our very first sponsor of our event.
And then even like a lot of these founders now, I see Shea Moisture
Yes.
is also sponsoring. So talk about Shea Moisture, because even the journey with Shea Moisture and seeing where they came from, because I also, and we've heard about Mair and the journey that they had in starting a brand, growing it to a certain point, but then saying, okay, it's time to expand from here. And sometimes people don't understand starting a brand and scaling it and then saying, okay, now it's time for investors or it's time to sell the brand.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Shea Moisture. They're also an early sponsor of ours as well. And they invested in us way before we even knew how big CurlFest was going to be. They're also coming in this year in a big way and sponsoring the entire small business marketplace, where they're bringing in 10 different small entrepreneur and small businesses, and they're sponsoring the entire area. So that's great.
Amazing.
Really excited about that. And that's kind of their MO, right? As you talk about their transition, they have really been intentional about giving back to the community.
Yeah.
So that is, we try to align with sponsors that have the same kind of like investment into Black and brown spaces in the same way that CurlFest does bring it back to the community.
And to piggyback off of that with Shea Moisture, during the pandemic, I did a lot with them. They were giving away grants to Black-owned businesses.
New voices.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think it is important to think about what brand you do want to align yourself with, because I'm sure there's people that have wanted to get on board that maybe you're like, oh,
let's talk about it. I mean, it is a partnership, and it's a constant two-way communication that we have with brands. So people may come and want to be a part of CurlFest, but we're like, okay, this is what it means. We've actually had to turn down partnerships because it wasn't true to our vision and our mission. And even with Shea Moisture, we had guidelines for them as well, as large as they are and how much they've grown, but they respect us because they were with us from the very beginning, and they've seen it. They've seen it grow and blossom and become what it is today. But we can say that about quite a few other beginning brands, pioneering natural beauty brands like Carol's Daughter and Curls.
Yeah,
and,
shout out to Lisa Price.
all of these brands started.
Mahisha.
You know,
And I love that when I
Mair.
know the
well. Yeah.
person behind the brand too.
Yeah.
You know, it's so
Yeah.
important to see
Yeah.
that because we do want to support the mission statement too.
Yes.
Before I even try a product, I'm like, all right, let me see who this person is because we do have
Let
a
me
lot
see
of
what their
options.
ingredients are about.
Yeah, and
Definitely the ingredients.
Definitely the
Yes.
ingredients. And I love that you said that because some people don't really know like who's behind CurlFest. It looks
Yes.
like this veneer, like you guys
Yes.
have like a big organization, but it's really owned and operated 100% by Black women, right?
Yes.
2 of which are seated here.
Hey.
So yeah, we like to make sure that we need to put ourselves out a little bit more because
Yes.
that's we're part of why we find that CurlFest is successful because we're not just selling the culture, we are the culture, right? And so when people are making a choice, and we've seen a transition over the last few years, people are making choices of where they spend their dollar based off of integrity of the business, authenticity, right? And so those are the values that we stand by as well as founders of CurlFest and this space.
For other people who have partnerships with because you guys are friends and that's how it all started, how is it working with friends? And what are some guidelines that you've had to learn along the way? Because that's also, there's boundaries, there's certain ways you have to operate. But for everybody listening that's like, okay, I have this business with my friends or I want to start something. What's some advice you can give in that space?
I mean, I think I'm gonna keep it real. I mean,
it real,
we are friends, right? We are friends in like the very true sense of the word. Sorry, we went to college together. There's some
Shout out to Temple University.
Temple University. There's another partner and I that went to high school and college together. There's some of us that met on the natural hair email thread that we told you about. And it was hard, and it is hard, because it's a constant, deliberate action to make sure that we separate the business from the personal, right? And there's sometimes, where we just have to come together, and sometimes it's long conversations, sometimes it's heated conversations. But what I love about us is that what is always underlining and what is always present is the passion for the business. And we understand that it's bigger than us, right? So we always do whatever is in the best interest of the business, and that's what I pride us being able to be. Curly Girl Collective is more than 10 years in, but CurlFest is 10 years in, and we're still here. Right. And the reason why is because we realize how important our mission and our vision is for the larger collective.
I like that slogan, we're still here.
I like it.
Okay. Double entendre. It's my marketing brain.
We're
still here. Yes.
And I want to talk about because this is a personal mission, right? So, Charisse, let's talk about your hair journey first.
Oh, yes.
Because I love your hair. It looks amazing. Take the hat, everything, accessorized. Let's go.
So, you know what it is. I'm going to be honest about it today. The reason why it's like this today is because I got to get my hair done for CurlFest tomorrow. So I'm like, what can I do that's cute? And I love our natural hair because we're able to do things like that. But the way my natural hair started, I'll take it back to when I was 4 or 5 years old. My mom, at the time, just, lack of education, and just because she thought it was the best thing to do, permed my hair so that it could be more manageable. So it took, and she wasn't the best hairstylist either. So it took me a while being in the mirror.
Just stop burning yet?
I know.
Right. So then it wasn't her doing it. I was going to the hairstylist, but it took me a while to, be playing in the mirror, trying to figure out how to style my hair, etc., going through the instances where I'm going to school and I hate the way my hair looks because I don't like the way I styled it, or I'm up all night styling my hair. But then it got to a point where I would educate myself. So I was one of the first people that joined the natural hair thread because I was one of the people that was already natural back in 2010 or 2009.
Okay, ahead of the curve.
Ahead of the curve because we were in Philly, and Philly was ahead of the curve. So they were all
That's
natural
true.
in Philly. So that was my hair journey.
And what about you, Simone? Talk to me about your journey. I love your hair. Listen, both of y'all came in here representing, because I'm sure even walking down the street, they're like, I love your hair. I love your hair.
Yes.
Don't touch it though, but
right. That's another thing. My hair journey is, I don't have a crazy story. I cut off my relaxer because of health reasons. It was just, my hair was unhealthy. I cut it off. I was starting over, and I was wearing weaves all the time, right? You would never see my real hair. I was wearing sew-ins and bust-downs and braids back to back to back, and it just wasn't healthy for my hair, right? And somehow, I'm not sure who brought me into the natural hair group that we were talking about, and it was found my little small community of women who were also going through the same thing at the same time. Young women, right? Maybe leaving college at that time was my time frame, and trying to figure out what I looked like and try to redefine what beauty was to me, right? And so it was like a learning experience to say, in my little teeny weeny afro, I still look beautiful, right? Yes. And relearning what that means, and maybe even, having to stand up to maybe family and friends who may say, girl, put a wig on, right? But we all have those type of stories. We all have those type of stories. Or your boyfriend at the time was like, I don't like your hair like that.
I don't like short hair. I want your hair straight. I don't like it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because people are liking my hair straight, and I'm like, ooh, I miss my texture.
Yeah, you'll get those comments, and then you'll start to question, whether or not you look beautiful any other way, right? And so that's the journey, and those are the journeys that people are still going through now.
Yeah. I mean, even professionalism, people act like it's more professional.
Oh, yeah.
If your hair is straight.
Yes.
In 2024.
Yes. That's why so many of us, so many Black women have similar stories.
Right.
Because we all go through the same thing. I like everything that Simone was talking about. I'm like, I can relate to that. And I think that's why CurlFest is so beautiful.
Yeah, because there's people who work in corporate America, and during the pandemic, they were, we got to just be ourselves at home. But when it was time to get on them Zooms,
you go get
they
this
were like,
out.
hold on, you gotta get this little headband wig on.
Right?
So now I want you guys to reminisce to when you guys first started this 10 years ago, and it was way more than you could have possibly imagined. How did you feel when you did the first CurlFest?
Oh my God. So the first CurlFest happened because we were having these small events and we were selling out, right? So then we decided to do something in the park. We literally thought that we could only target about 300, 200 people. And then we looked around and there were 500 people. And I mean,
I think it was double that, maybe like
1,000.
Yeah, in and out throughout the day.
Our first event,
I would have been happy with 500.
I know.
But it probably was 1,000 people. But I mean, the way that it happened was really just from word of mouth. It was just from word of mouth. Social media wasn't even a big thing at that time. And people just came out just because they happened to see something happening in the park, right? And then came, and then from there, we're talking about it for the next year, trying to tell their friends or their friends. And it made me feel like, we have something here.
Listen,
and we got to keep doing this.
You know how I knew about it? So, because I live in Brooklyn and I go running in Prospect Park. And so I was running one day and I seen all these women like looking real cute. And I'm like, what's going on out here?
Exactly.
And that's when I first found out about CurlFest. And then I was like, okay.
I mean, it was the most, I can't even describe it. It just was so beautiful, and it was so like I was on cloud 9, and it still happens to this day. Every CurlFest event, we are on cloud 9 because it takes so much to put it together, and as large as it becomes, it's so much planning, so much disappointment, so much happy things that I have. Like everything's a mix of everything, so many emotions. But when you get there and you just see the joy and the community and just like everybody coming together, the best reactions are always from the men.
I bet.
The men are always,
they'll be at CurlFest.
Hello, that's what I say every time.
It's always great.
Come find your wife.
But yeah, I can't even describe it, Angela. It's just indescribable.
And you talk about certain times disappointments too, and let's talk about that too, because sometimes there was a period of time when it was like money was flowing.
Yes.
Sponsorship money was flowing. They're like, let's pour into these events like this, and Black people, Black women. But then it feels like people have pulled back on that because some large corporations, they've done things, and sometimes it could be performative at a certain period of time, but then it's like, okay, let's cut this program, let's cut this funding. What's that process been like for you guys? Because you do have something that's established, that's proven.
I mean, we both could talk about it. We can write a book.
I mean, really, from my perspective, I think we've seen in the last year or two, a lot of ODI initiatives have been cut, right? Diversity and inclusion initiatives, and some people may put CurlFest in that box as well, right? We were around and have been established well before. It kind of has been cool to be, have D&I. We've seen that resurgence from a lot of big brands since George Floyd era, right? And so, I said transparently is hard, right? It's hard for event producers. It's hard for event producers that are owned and operated by Black women. I would talk about that, right? And so we consistently have to prove our worthiness all the time.
Yeah.
What, our credibility, our cultural equity, which is hard to quantify. So it is still a struggle, but we're still here. And I love that tagline. I'm going to take it. We're still here. We are still here. By hook or crook, we are still fighting to stay in this space because we know we deserve. And, there's ups and downs in every business. And so we feel like our mission and our vision is stronger than any of the bumps in the road.
Right.
But people like you, Angela, who come and support us and allow us to be on this media.
I was making sure this was going to happen. I was like,
we appreciate it so much.
We can't just do it on Zoom. It's got to be a nice
different in person.
this
helps us.
And I will say this too, just to add to that, I want our community to know that, as Simone said, it's a small team behind this that does everything. And to your point, things have been cut, and it's always a fight to make sure that we let people know what our value is. We communicate what the value is. We share our metrics. We share, what the Black community's dollar is doing. Not only are women coming out, but men are coming out. People from all races are coming out.
All ages.
And all over the world.
All over the world are coming out. Men are coming out. Yeah. So, there's so much value in this space, right? And we sometimes get overlooked. And, our community holds us to a high regard, and that's because we've always set the bar really high. So I just want our community to know that, it's not always easy for us,
right? But
we are still here, and we are still committed to making sure that we put our best product forward, even when we don't have the backing that we used to have.
Okay. Well, we want to make sure that we continue to ramp that up and let people know about it. So what is happening this year for the 10-year anniversary?
Well, go ahead. You want to go?
yes, because I'm excited. Yeah. Number one, we are back in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Okay.
We are
Should've
back
never let you
in
know what I'm saying.
Right. We are back in Brooklyn.
You see it? Okay.
Yes, Brooklyn be everywhere, right? And there were quite a few people that missed that. So when we made the announcement that we were coming back to Brooklyn, everybody was very excited. We are in a different venue. We are at the Band Shell, which is Celebrate Brooklyn in Prospect Park. So it is more of an intimate venue, but we have some great sponsors that we're excited about. Shea Moisture is going to be there. They're bringing 10 small business vendors as well. We have our vendor marketplace, which is going to showcase other small businesses that we're excited about. They showcase everything from fashion to accessories to goods. We'll have music per usual. We'll have food per usual.
Gift bags.
We'll have gift bags. Oh, and our gift
coveted gift bags.
Our gift bag sponsor, I'm really excited about it. We got Sacred in the gift bag. I know a lot of people be excited about that.
Yes.
And some of the usual suspects. Our gift bags are like the most coveted, and they are going to be fly this year. So, we're excited about this year.
All right. Well, I'm excited too, and I'm happy that y'all are back in Brooklyn.
Yes.
So I'll be around. So I think I'm coming through to show my support too. So.
Yes. We have a
love
special
that.
space for you.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay,
we do.
listen, y'all won't even know. I'm gonna pop up and I'm gonna just do the regular, how
Well,
we
let us
do
know
it.
you there because
Okay,
we got a
okay.
special space for you.
Yes.
But honestly, thank you both so much for coming through and making the time to come up here. And we'll make sure everybody knows CurlFest is happening this weekend. Where can people go to get more information and support?
CurlFest.com. And then we're on Instagram at Curly Girl Collective. We are also on Facebook, and we are on Twitter.
Yes, and we have a promo code if that's okay. Can
Okay,
I
yeah,
share that?
yes.
So 20% off all tickets. The code is BACKTOBK, BACKTOBK.
We love
Let's
a promo
go.
code. Okay. Yes. All right. I'm going to bring my curls back for it.
Yes.
But Angela, you know you want to bring your curls
You
back.
know. Tonight. Okay. But I appreciate y'all. I will see you on Saturday. So make sure y'all come out and support. It's way up.
Way up.